Tune in to Africa Business Radio on www.africabusinessradio.com. Find us on Facebook, Africa Business Radio, and on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
It is still Breakfast Connect right here on Africa Business Radio, and of course, this is the second half of the show this morning, and I can promise that my guest is very much on the line already. And this morning we're talking about smart port. I'm probably hearing this for the first time, but we're going to be looking at what is this about, what type of technology is this, and of course, and how this can be used to boost economic growth in the continent of Africa. Specifically, we'll be looking at the Nigerian economy, and of course, for those that are familiar with Nigeria, we have major ports in the country like the Lagos port. Yes, we also have the Tinkan Online. Yes, actually no Tinkan port. And we also have the Calabar Port. We have another one in Port Harcourt, Delta, and of course, and a couple of other ones actually. But of course, this morning we're looking at the concept of a smart port and what that is about and how that can help Nigeria in order to influence economic growth in the country. On the show this morning, I have Malice on the line, and she is from the Wipro Limited. Good morning, Malice.
Good morning, Soji. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I am not making any attempt at pronouncing your last name, so can you just help me with that, please?
So it's a very Dutch last name. It's Van Locherenberg.
All right. And what do you do, Malice?
So I'm head of business development for the Africa region for Wipro.
Okay.
So I look at the rest of Africa, so all the African countries within the African continent.
Yeah. Specifically, what do you offer? I mean, as Wipro.
As Wipro, we offer IT solutions, everything from infrastructure to artificial intelligence and everything in between. So our company is geared to provide IT solutions to our customers' problems.
Okay, so you have technological, innovative products that are targeted at improving infrastructure, of course, for different countries, right?
Yes.
All right.
So infrastructure, business, everything that you require from an IT perspective.
Okay, and this particular smart port, what is that about?
So smart ports is using technology to optimize space, resources, people, money. So everything that you have within your ports, your technology uses that to optimize it and to structure it in such a way that you have a streamlined port. So that is basically what a smart port is. It becomes a connected port. I don't know if you've heard of the concept of a connected car.
Yes.
Where your car is enabled with Bluetooth or internet capabilities. You can actually do that for a smart port or for a port and connect your vehicles, your vessels, your actual port authorities, your documentation, all of that together in one cohesive system.
So we're talking about IoTs, yeah, right?
Yes, IoT definitely is one of those, yes.
Okay. So how does that differ from what they call automation of port? Is it the same term?
Yes, you can automate certain areas in ports, but it does not mean that you have brought your digital technology in, your Internet of Things, your artificial intelligence. So you can automate certain operations, but to take it to a next level in a smart port, that is where you bring all your digital technologies in. For example, blockchain. Everybody is talking about blockchain.
Yes.
And the technologies that goes around that. You can use blockchain and deploy that to solve your congestion problems in ports, for example.
We understand that most of these ports, when they were initially constructed, and they probably they were not constructed with the capability of automation of or the capability of high OTs. Is it that you're going to do a complete overhaul? You're just going to do add-ons to the existing infrastructures of this port?
You see, all over the world, we have existing infrastructure in ports, and you can't just redo the port. You have restrictions in land, you have restrictions in road, you have restrictions on how the vessels can come into the harbor. So that you can't change that completely. You can optimize it to the best of your ability, but smart ports will take what you have existing and optimize your constraints and making your flow through the ports a lot easier and quicker to stop the congestion that appears.
All right. So now, specifically, let's look at the West African region. Let's look at Nigeria. I believe you have you've done a status analysis of the port in Nigeria. What are some of the problems that you've seen?
So, just to take you back to where I came to this article, I travel to Lagos very often, at least once a month.
Okay.
And driving on the roads and through Apapa, you can see the congestion that is on the roads. You have trucks queuing up for kilometers and kilometers and kilometers. Every road that goes into the port is completely congested with trucks trying to get in, trucks trying to get out. And what really gripped my heart was to see how the truck drivers were living for 2, 3, 4 weeks on the bridges, in their trucks, cleaning, eating, washing their clothes, and the circumstances that they had to live under. And then it made me think of the impact that it has on the Nigerian economy, of the time wasted trying to get into the ports and how you can optimize those ports. So that is how I got to the whole to driving this kind of solution. So what we have not done a detailed study of the actual port, but just looking at the circumstances around the port and what is happening and seeing the manual procedures that's being followed, there is a lot of benefit that can be brought from your digital technologies to enable and to help and to make it quicker and more and less congestion.
I do agree with you. The problem of trucks parking on the road and on bridges across Lagos actually is actually very much problematic. Just recently there was a fire incident. Of course, there was a truck carrying gas that got exploded on a particular bridge in Lagos, and other trucks were there and all of that. And there has been a problem that has been there for a very long time. And like you said, it's a matter of just people doing things manually and taking weeks before they clear different, different consignment or different goods or different trucks and all of that. And have you reached out to the Lagos state government as yet with regards to this, because they are looking for an urgent solution to this problem?
Yes, now that you mentioned that accident, I saw videos. I was not in the country at that stage. It was terrible to see the flames going up and people, just being in disbelief. Even the other day, last week when I was there, it took my driver about from 4:30 in the afternoon to reach his house. He only reached at 1:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And those are crazy circumstances, and it was specifically because of the trucks that tried to move the trucks to a different area, and that created a completely new congestion. To come back to your question, we have not reached out to the ports authorities as yet. But that is in the cards at the moment.
Okay. All right. So what are you hoping to do? How do you hope to solve this problem? And how long will it take before we see a complete eradication of having trucks parking on the road and causing traffic?
Well, I suppose the first step would be to engage and to do a proper analysis.
Okay.
At this stage, we are talking about concepts and what we have seen from afar. So you really have to get in there, roll up your sleeves and understand the challenges, because there could be physical challenges like great chassis, that is not enough great chassis available, moving trucks around. So there could be physical things you can do in the port and then adding the technology on top of that. How long that will take, I can't say right now. That would depend on the analysis that is being done. But a plan can be put in place to start working towards reducing the congestion. I know I've read an article last week when I was there in the newspaper where they specifically discussed that the government does not quite know what to do about the huge congestions that they are having in the Nigerian ports at the moment. So we are there to assist and see how we can change that.
I believe that will really go a long way to solve a long-standing problem, not just in Lagos, but of course across Nigeria. The problem of this is very much something that almost every Nigerian is aware of. All right, can you tell us where you have implemented such a solution before so that we can just do a bit of comparison?
So, I don't have the names of all the ports that we have implemented. Okay. We have done in Europe. But again, your circumstances in Nigeria is not exactly the same as you would get in Europe or in America. Okay. Because you have very specific road conditions and manual procedures that has to be taken into place. Okay. So for me, Africa has the opportunity to transcend current technologies and current processes. And we've seen that with, for example, telecommunication landlines, where most of the world has implemented that, but it was not viable in the rest of Africa. So Africa transcended that technology and embraced mobile communication. So here is an opportunity where Africa can embrace new technology and transcend what's being done in other ports in the world and become smart ports and doing things in a different way.
I do agree with you on that. Finally, before I let you go this morning, in terms of corresponding economic productivity, can you quantify it in monetary term? If you implement this just in the Lagos port, the Tinkan port, if you implement this smart solution, can you quantify the corresponding economic productivity?
That's a difficult question. I don't presume to even be able to answer that. How long is a piece of string? But, if you can solve many of the congestive problems, you're going to see a huge economic growth because you won't have trucks on the road for how many weeks, stuck in the harbors. Even your international barges or your vessels that's coming in, they don't have to lie in port for that long. So you can just assume that a huge economic injection will be given to Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, Marlies. Before I let you go, if perhaps one of those guys working in charge of the Lagos port or any port across Africa is listening and they want to probably reach out to you, is there any way they can do that?
Yes, they can email me so I've got a long email address. Okay. it's MAR
okay.
LEZE
okay.
.LOGG
okay.
EEREN
okay.
at Wipro .com.
Okay.
Or alternatively, my business number is +27
okay
60
okay
960
okay
2200.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Alice, this morning. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you, Soji. Be
blessed.
Right,
cheers. Bye. All right, that was Marlies from Wipro this morning talking about smart port and how we can begin to not just automating our ports, but also kind of like making them smarter. Actually, the concept of Internet of Things, connected ports, and so that we can be able to avoid some of the current congestions rather that we have seen in different ports across Africa. Especially, we were talking about the Nigerian, Nigeria rather, as a case study this morning, looking at the Lagos port, the Tinkan, for those that know Tinkan port, the congestion that you see, the traffic that you see from Apapa to Oshodi is as a result of the current state of the Tinkan port or the Apapa port, because the fact that there is a lot of delay. The trucks have to be packed for weeks before they are being cleared, and it's because most of the things are still being done manually, and there is need for us to look into how we can turn that port to a smart port that people wouldn't have to wait, trucks wouldn't have to wait, things can move faster, and we're going to see the corresponding economic benefit this morning. And the time wasted alone by these trucks and also by the commuters, we are losing some economic advantage with regards to that. So it is something that needs to be urgently looked into, and for those that are in charge of things like this, I just like to urge you to reach out to Wipro. Not giving them free advertising, but of course this solution is very much needed. It is something that can impact the lives of everyone that is living in Nigeria or in Lagos or every other country in Africa that is also experiencing the problem of congested port. Of course, so that is where we're going to leave that this morning. We have just about 10 minutes to go on the show, so we'll go on a short break and we'll come back and we'll look at the political week ahead and the economic week ahead across Africa this morning. Stay with us.
Unique insight into doing business in Africa. Investment opportunity. Industry updates. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.